Very good morning, dear children. Dear children, we are on chapter number 4 of geography, which is climate. Children, we discussed in the previous module regarding the difference between climate and weather. Fine, children, then we discussed that what sort of climate does India has. So, did you remember India has monsoon type of climate? Fine, children. Now, children, we are on the next topic, which is climatic controls. Now, children, there are some factors which controls the climate of any place. So children, you have done this in the junior classes also. So some of the factors you already know. Fine. So what is going to control the climate? The latitude. Fine. The altitude, then the pressure and the wind system, distance from the sea, ocean currents and relief features. So these are the factors which are going to control the climate. Children, see, as you know, uh, our earth is what shape our earth is. It is geoid in shape, means it is flat from the poles. Fine. And you all know, children, about the different latitudes and longitudes. Fine. The imaginary lines. So children, as per the latitude, fine, so as the earth is round in shape, geoid in shape, flat from the poles, you all know that the insolation, the amount of insolation, fine, the amount of solar energy which falls on the earth is different at different latitudes. If you are on the equator, obviously direct rays of the sun will fall on the equatorial region. If your place is in the tropics, there is some different insolation. And if the place is in the poles, obviously the slanting rays, so there the scenario will be different. So children, first thing which controls the climate is the latitude. Fine. So according to the latitude, the temperature, the air temperature, it is generally decreasing from the equator towards the poles. Fine. Now children, the next is your altitude, at what height you are. Fine. Atmosphere becomes less dense and the temperature increases with the height. If you just think about the hills, there are cooler summers. Then third is pressure and wind system of any area. It also depends on the latitude and altitude of the place. Fine. So it is going to influence the temperature and the rainfall pattern. Now children, you all know distance from the sea. The sea is going to have a moderating influence on the climate. You all know land breeze, sea breeze. So distance from the sea increases, the moderating influence is going to decrease. Means the more you are near to the sea, the climate will be moderate. If you start going away, fine, you are going to face extreme climate. Fine. This condition is known as continentality, which means very hot during summers and very cold during winters. If you just take an example of Delhi, very hot in summers, very cool in winters. If you take example of Mumbai, so it is always moderate. Fine, the climate is always moderate. Now children, the next factor is ocean currents. Fine. So ocean currents, you have read ocean currents in class 7 also. So the onshore winds, they also affect the climate of the place, means the coastal areas obviously. Any coastal area with warm and cold currents flowing past it, if the warm currents are there, the climate will be warm. If the cool currents are there, the climate will be cool. Then comes the relief. That is also going to play a very major role in determining the climate. If it is high mountains, they are going to act as a barrier for cold and hot winds. They can also cause to precipitation, fine, because they are high, you all know, and they are lying in the path of rain bearing winds, fine. So the relief is also going to play a big role. Now children, the next is factors affecting India's climate. So first factor we discussed, latitudes. The Tropic of Cancer is passing through the, here we are talking about only India. So from where the Tropic of Cancer is passing, it is passing through the middle of the country, that is from the run of Kutch in the west and Mizoram in the east. So children, almost half of the country which is lying to the south of Tropic of Cancer, it belongs to a tropical area. All the remaining area in the north of the tropics, it is the subtropic area, fine. So therefore children, India's climate has characteristics of tropical as well as subtropical climates, both, fine. So the tropic is towards the uh, south and the subtropic is towards the north, fine. Now comes the altitude, the height. Children, the mountains in India are towards the north, and if you talk about the average height, that is 6,000 meters. So India also has, even you all know, India has all type of landforms. So it also has vast coastal areas also. Their elevation is just means it's nearby 30 meters. So children, the Himalayas, they are going to prevent the cold winds from the Central Asia from entering the subcontinent. They stop that. This is the reason why these mountains that the subcontinent experience comparatively milder winters as compared to the Central Asia, because the Himalayas, they are stopping the winds, cold winds to enter our country, fine. Now next comes the pressure and the winds, fine. Now the climate of, you all know, it is associated means with all these atmospheric conditions, fine. So first is pressure and surface winds, the second is upper air circulation, the third is western cyclonic disturbances and tropical cyclones, fine. So India's region of northeasterly winds, India is lying in the region of northeasterly winds. Now these winds, they originate from the subtropical high pressure belt of the northern hemisphere, fine. So now what will happen, they blow southwards, get deflected to the right due to the Coriolis forces, fine. So these are the reasons why the climate is affected. Children, see, this pressure and winds, this is a big topic, so I will take this topic separately, fine. So end of today's topic. Thank you and have a nice day.